Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TundraCast. And today we're just going to look through the bottom end of the league today and mostly focus on teams like Vancouver and maybe Chicago, look at their coaching situations and suss out what's going to be happening to them over the next season and into the future. And today I think we're going to start with Bruce Boudreau and the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, so I mean, by the time this comes out, Bruce Boudreau should be out and Rick Tocchet should be in. And before I wanna, before we announce this move, I just want to say what the Canucks are doing to Bruce Boudreau is embarrassing. Um, they're scapegoating him for a terrible team that's not really his fault, and the fact that it's already been known that he's been fired for like the past 2 weeks, it's embarrassing, and I feel bad for the guy. um, he deserves way better because he's a damn good coach. And like I said, the team just sucks. It's not his fault.
Yep. And his replacement, it looks like it's going to be Rick Tocchet. He used to coach with Arizona. Um, and already, this looks like an absolutely horrible move because the only reason that I've seen so far, I'm going to check the source for this as I say this, but
Yeah.
uh, the only reason is because they want him to rile in JT Miller, who is like one of their highest paid players, who they signed to an 8-year contract at like 8 million or something crazy like that. And like you signed that player. Why do you need to get a coach just to wrangle him? Because that was your decision. So it makes you look bad. And also, it's a problem because what about the rest of the team? Why are you focusing on just one player? It just all looks really bad on the Canucks right now.
Yeah, there's always been rumors about JT and locker room issues with the Canucks. And yeah, they already. I mean, he's already not having a good year. There's no real reason to rush to sign him. Like, I mean, I would have signed Horvat beforehand, and look at the year Horvat's having right now. I mean, it's probably a career year, but I still would rather have him long term than the guy like JT Miller.
Mm.
And back on the Tocchet thing, I don't really get why they're hiring Tocchet. Like, he's not really a good coach from what you've seen in Arizona. Um, and yeah, it's just puzzling. And he's not really a fit for today's game. Uh, all these old heads like to complain about the speed and skill of the game, and they want to transition back to a physical, two wide defensive game, and I don't really agree with that. I mean, you saw Torts slam Trevor Zegras last year for his lacrosse pass to Sonny Milano, and he was like, "Oh, if he did that on my team, I bench him." Like, you can't, like, that's not how today's NHL works anymore. You let the young kids show it off their skill. And Tocchet, they didn't really do that in Arizona. He held guys like Keller back. He held guys like Schmaltz back. As soon as he left, Jacob Chikrin turned into a stud. Lawson Krause turned his career around. You know, the only benefit to Tocchet I can see is more growth from Demko, who's already a damn good goalie. Because you seen guys like Ranta, who had like a .930 save percentage under him. You saw Kemper really grow into a starter under him. That's one benefit to Tocchet. Everything else is not good.
Yeah, and overall, it's just it seems like the team is the bad part right here. And Boudreau, I don't know if he's an amazing coach or anything like that. I'm not going to comment on that because it doesn't really matter. Because right now, anyone could look at this team and say that, man, there's something really wrong with it because it's really not that good. Like on the defensive core, it's in itself. I'm just gonna like um the defensive ability of this team is pretty damn bad. Their expected goal differential is like down in -20 or something crazy like that, which is horrible. And you don't think that the reason might be, oh, I'm paying OEL and what's his name,
Tyler Myers.
Tyler Myers, like close to 14 million in total. That's insane. Like no one looks at that and thinks maybe that's the problem, not the coach who, honestly, as much as a coach can affect a team, if the players aren't good enough in the first place, like how far is that team really gonna go? So
Yeah. Like, yeah, you're exactly right. They're 29th in goals against. They're 29th in expected goals against. And even though you can be a terrible defensive team and still make the playoffs because you have a top-loaded offense. The Oilers have done this in the past for the past few years, right? The thing is, they're also 27 expected goals for. Their PK is dead last. Their goaltending is, I think, one of the worst in the league. Like this team, it's just not good anywhere. It doesn't make sense because if you actually look at their roster, I mean, forward wise, we mentioned Miller, we mentioned Horvat, but there's guys like Besser. There's Mikheyev, who's having a good year. There's Kuzmenko, who's having a brilliant year. He's gonna get a lot of the deadline, especially if it's cheap contract, right? There are good players here, but for some reason, under Travis Green, it didn't work. It started well under Boudreau. It now just turned south quick, and maybe it is a locker room issue. And if it is, I don't think any coach can fix that. The only team, the only people that can fix the locker room issue are the players in that room. And it's weird. We never heard about these issues when the Sedins were there. And it's like as soon as JT Miller came on, we've heard stories there, and it's odd. It's really weird. And like I said, I don't think it's Boudreau's fault. I don't think Talk is gonna fix anything. And also, like, I don't think they're hiring Talkie just for the rest of the year. Like, you know, like I think he's there to stay for a while.
which is
You're not
horrible.
like if they're gonna name like an assistant coach on the team, the interim head coach, then you know what, that makes sense. Just keep on taking. But no, I actually think that he's gonna be there for a while, and he's not the right fit for that team. I don't know. I forgot where I saw the quote, but Talkett said something along the lines of, "Oh, I hate small defensemen on my team." Vancouver's best defenseman is Quinn Hughes, who's 5'10". Ethan Bear's around 5'10". OEL, who played under Talk in Arizona, hated him. Half the defense, Talkett's just gonna give them 10 minutes a night. Like, it's not gonna be good. Yeah, I just like, it's so puzzling. Why Rick Tocchet? Like, there's so many amazing coaches out there that need NHL jobs, but no, we keep getting retrend after retrend after retrend, and it's so annoying and frustrating to see. I want new blood in this league, but we never get it.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's all these old heads that like don't want the game to progress, and it's frustrating because the game has changed from before when it's just you had to be big, and if you weren't big, you're not good. Now you see like players who are smaller, and that just like expands the horizons of how good hockey players can be. And I don't, and for some reason, um, old coaches think that's a bad thing. Like players like Marner and Zegras, they're the ones that like wow everyone on a daily basis, and yet those are the ones that you want to suppress by hiring these types of coaches. It makes no sense.
I
Like
mean,
sure, yeah,
you
go ahead.
saw Marner just. I think Marner had a career year, a career year when he first took over, right?
Yep.
Like you need those coaches. Like even like look at what McDavid's doing under Jay Woodcroft right now. The guy's on pace for 155 points. It's insane, and like you need these young coaches to let your young guys have the freedom to do whatever they want. And if they have the freedom to do whatever they want, you're gonna get some nice plays, nice highlight reel plays. People love that. But if you're gonna bring in Rick Tocchet, who's gonna suppress Elias Pettersson, who's unbelievable, by the way. A
Yep.
lot of people don't know how good this kid is. He's great, and you want to maximize Quinn Hughes' offensive game because that's his strength. If you're gonna neutralize that, then like not only are you harming that player, you're gonna harm the team overall. And like I said, this fit doesn't make any sense. And I mean I get why they're hiring Talkett. It's Rutherford's buddy from Pittsburgh, but still, I don't care if you're best buddies with him. If the team doesn't fit the style of the coach, don't hire him.
And that's like something that's simple. Like we're teenagers sitting in our rooms talking about this, and for some reason million dollar men sitting up in their offices and drinking coffee and all that stuff, they can't figure that out. So it's really not that complicated. Find a coach that fits your team, and also you shouldn't be like changing your team shouldn't have to like completely change its identity to fit the coach. Like when the Leafs were hired Babcock, that he like switched the identity, and for some reason, and it worked for a year because that team like they were still young. They were all just brought together at one point, and were expected to work. But then as soon as they found like the more skilled, fast game that they wanted to play, Babcock just didn't fit because he wanted to keep them in this mold. And they really managed to break out once Keefe was brought in as their coach because he let them play the game that they were meant to play. So if you're
Yeah,
trying to switch around their game to something that they shouldn't be playing, which is something that Tocchet will do when to guys like Pedersen, Horvat and Kuzmenko are gone, Besser, uh, it's really not going to
Garland.
work out.
Yeah, and like I hate the argument saying, "Oh, but you have to play defense." You know what? If you're creating a lot of offense and you're pounding the team in the other team's zone, guess what? That's still playing defense because you're
Mm-hmm.
not in your zone a lot. Like it's I hate that argument so much. Bring in a defensive coach. That's the thing that riles me up the most. And I mean, back to Keith, right? Back to Woodcroft on those two guys. They let their players do whatever they want, and the Leafs have some of the best defensive numbers in the NHL. The Oilers in the past, I think, 15 games expected goals wise are top 10 in the NHL. Like literally, let the guys do what they want. I mean, obviously you still need a system around them, but like don't neutralize their offense.
Yeah,
Let
because that's
them
the
be
best part about
creative.
them. That's the
I
best part
know.
about them.
Like that's why the NHL has actually slowly grown in the past few years. People see these crazy plays, like like back to the Zegers play. That I think that got like 1 million or 2 million likes on ESPN's Instagram page. That went viral around America. People want to see that. That's what's gonna bring. That's what's gonna get the eyes on hockey. But also, I mean, the NHL also does I mean, we talked about this when the ESPN schedule came out. The NHL does a crappy marketing job, so they got to fix that too. But
But lately, though, I feel like that's been better. But
they've been better at it. I mean, the All Star vote was stupid.
that we will talk about that for sure. But that was horrible.
Uh, Didn't he? I'm pretty sure Nylander got like 32K tweets, and somehow Matthews still got in.
Yeah, I mean, there's like there's an epidemic around the league of getting Murray in. Even like, sure, he's probably not the best goalie that you could get in, but it's what the fans want. So why the hell not? And it's fun. I mean, when
Yeah,
John Scott got in a couple years ago,
that was
that's
awesome.
like everyone is crazy about that.
The NHL just hates fun.
Yeah, that's what it
But
looks like. Anyways, so is that enough for Vancouver? Because I feel like there's
if we gotta just hammer them there. I, I mean, like, what else is there to say? I mean, Horvat might be gone within the next week.
yeah, every team. Horvat's been amazing, by the way. He's career year, and any team that like wants to win, they should be looking into Horvat. And
It's gonna be Boston, isn't it?
I swear to God, man.
It's gonna be Boston. By the way, that's something else we should talk about. Boston's having a better year than the 18-19 Lightning somehow, and that's not like the 18-19 Lightning were a deep team. I wouldn't consider Boston a deep team.
I
Like
don't know
they're a
where it's
good
coming
team.
from.
I don't know either. And maybe they realized, oh, it's Bergey's last year. Let's get him a cup, and they're
I
just going.
I
It's
guess
insane.
so, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't seem like there's no reason that they should be this good. Anyways, we'll talk about that in another video too. But
Yeah. Anyways, we can touch on Chicago now because you mentioned Chicago in the opening. Um, I mean, like, I don't like once again, like similar to Boudreau. I mean, this is not Richardson's fault, by the way. This team just sucks.
it's horrible. Like not even like oh my God, I I don't even know how to explain it because they should be they looking at them, you know they're bad. With the Canucks, you see there's a forward core, so maybe they can do something there. But these guys are just horrible all around, and it doesn't seem like unless they get Bedard, which they have a
They
pretty
better
decent
not.
chance. It's just not gonna work because like there's nothing there right now.
Yeah, I don't like. We called this back during the free agency live stream that okay, this team's gonna suck ass. But holy crap! I mean, this might take years to fix. There's nothing here. Like they don't have any good prospects besides Lucas Reichel. And
Who's
like,
not even that
sure,
good, by the way.
yeah. So even if you do get Bedard or Fantilli or whoever, like you still need defense around them, and they got zero defense because you're paying Seth Jones $9 million per year. Like they're gonna trade Jake McCabe, who's a damn good defenseman, by the way. The
Mm-hmm.
only bright spot on that team.
Yep.
Like, and somehow Alex Daylock's doing well. I don't get that. Good for him. Mrazek just still is injury prone to crap. Also, Patrick Kane might be the most overrated
So
trade deadline
bad.
target I've seen. His wins. I think his wins above replacement's like 1 percentile. It's not good.
Oh my god, man. He is like, I think, I might be wrong, but I'm gonna check this right now. But I think Andreas Athanasiou is their best offensive player. Like not by like by the advanced analytics. I think he's their best defensive player. Uh,
Which, yeah, probably I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah,
Actually, no,
he
I think it's Jujar Kara because I'm on his page right now. He has a 98. Oh, he has 98 percentile this season. Good for him.
wow, a boy.
See, that would be a good target for a contending team. Get a shutdown bottom six forward, big body. That'd be perfect for a Tampa or Toronto.
Yeah, but don't get
Uh,
Patrick Kane because this guy's trash.
oh, you think Kane's trash? You look at Taves, man.
Oh, I know he's been. Oh
Whole
my god, bro, it's horrible. Like okay, first of all, these guys are pieces of crap. They just
yeah.
don't deserve any sympathy. Second of all, how did they drop so badly? Like I know they're old, but at the same time, there are players who are. Sports science has pushed us so far where age is like where the prime for athletics is starting to get pushed back more and more.
I know, right? You look at Joe Pavelski, right? Holy crap, he's still good.
Yeah, and look at the Bruins. They're built on that.
Yeah,
Bergeron, Krejci,
Marchand.
Marchand. It's insane. So like, why are these two guys in general just so damn bad? And at the same time too, I don't know,
It's
man.
yeah, it's odd. I mean, both. I mean, okay, maybe not Kane. I would say Taze is likely for sure gone. Kane, but what would you give up for Kane? Like, what's the max price like there? Like, Taze would probably be like a third round pick.
Yeah,
Kane, like they're gonna be asking the sun and the moon for Kane, and I'm not giving that to them.
they don't. Yeah, he's not worth it. It's not even close. Not the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, it's weird, and it was like it's not Chicago, it's not Luke Richardson's fault. Um, I mean, like honestly, I kind of expected Chicago to be worse. I think my prediction for them was like 20 wins or something. They're on pace for like 25, 26, so it's not as bad as they thought it was gonna be, but still, they're a terrible team.
Yeah, I mean, there's really the way I can see it right now. Unless they bag something huge. I'm talking Michkov, or Bedard, kind of good. Misa, that kind of good. It's like
Oh yeah.
where they have nothing, like absolutely nothing.
Columbus too. I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's the
How
only
is
two
this
words.
team? Like, I feel like crap, man. I thought this team was gonna make the playoffs and be good because it was so promising. I was like, you know what? The defense is good. They got a good goalie tandem. They actually have a good forward core. No, this team sucks too.
I so I think their best player so far, like all around, has been Boone Jenner, which is disappointing to say the least, considering this team has Johnny Gaudreau on it. Like, where did this guy go? He was in the Hart convo like
Last year.
just last year. Like, I know you can drop
Holy,
off from that, but seriously, this
yeah,
bad?
his finishing just took a nosedive. I mean, I guess it makes sense because he did play with Kachuk and Lindholm. I mean, hey, there's 240 goal scorers also on that line, but still, like you're playing with Patrick Liney, man. Like Patrick Liney's no slouch.
Yeah, and he's been good this season actually. Line has been
Yeah,
decent.
good for Liney. Yeah. Um. Wow. He hasn't been that bad defensively. Good for him.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
he's
like you said, like their most consistent player has been Boone Jenner.
and he look, both of those guys have been injured too, which hasn't helped them. Gaudreau,
Yeah.
Nyquist, Corrali, they've been decent. Like decent, which is not what you expect from someone like Gaudreau. Uh, and it makes no sense because how long have we been saying that they're on the come up? It's been since like the
Forever.
season they beat Toronto in the play-in. So that's like
Yeah.
3 years ago now.
Jeez, I was. I mean, like you also have to look at like what the coaches do. I think Brad Larson's the coach. I mean, like Cole Sillinger last year had a good year. He had 31 points. This year he has 740. Like there's something wrong in their player development. It looks like Kent Johnson. How many? I don't think Kent Johnson's having the best year either. He has 19 and 42. Igor Chinikov, the guy who no one knew at the draft that year.
Yeah.
I think he has 13 and 30. Like I don't know if the young kids are getting 0 minutes or if the coach just can't develop them. Like it's odd. Like this is the thing. People were hyping up Columbus this season. It's the young kids stepping up, and so far they've done nothing. And I mean, it's not fair to them, right? They're 20, 21 years old, but that's where I think this is where the coach deserves some blame. We looked at two teams in Vancouver, Chicago. We're like, okay, it's not their fault. I'm looking at this team. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is on the coach. Maybe they do have to fire him because no, you need to get your young kids some confidence, right? I mean, even if you look at Liam Foudy, right? Foudy has played 27 games this year, 3 assists. He has yet to score a goal in the NHL.
Yikes.
Besides, he did score in the qualifying round against Toronto, but I don't want to bring that up for you. But I mean, he has to get the kids going. No, do something, man.
Okay, and let's Gavrikov and Bjork are supposed to be one of their both of these guys are supposed to be like two of their better defensemen, and as of right now, they're probably one of the worst worst top. I guess it's a lot to say top pairings.
Gavrikov's been bad this year, but I don't really think it's all his fault. I mean, you look at his last few years; he's had strong years. I still think Gavrikov's a decent second pair defenseman, and any team that gets him at the deadline is getting a good player. I'm looking at Eric Gabranson, man.
Okay, well, obviously, I think anyone expected anything from him.
4x4.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, anyone except the Blue Jackets expected anything from him.
His projected WAR is 0%. I
God
mean,
damn, bro.
Zach Werenski too is getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. It just. Yeah, I think you're right about it. This has to be other than Goodbranson, this just has to be the coach because why this what other reason can there be for this team still being so bad?
It's not that it's not that bad. On paper, it's not that bad. I mean, the one bright spot is Kirill Marchenko's been good, 9 goals in 22 games. He's been producing some offense, but holy, I expected a lot more from these guys. But you know what though? I will say if Bedard ends up in Columbus, I actually think that'd be good for the Columbus market. If you have a guy like Connor Bedard, that's gonna increase ticket sales there. That market could boom.
Yeah.
And that would be something. That'd be the one place where I'm actually okay with Bedard going.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. Columbus would not be a bad place for Bedard to go.
Yeah.
So they're last in the league right now at this point. So hopefully it goes that way because I don't want him to go to Chicago because they don't deserve it there.
We can talk about Anaheim. First of all, no, please not Anaheim. You already have Zegras and Troy Terry and those guys. You have Mason McTavish. You don't need Bedard. But also, this is also on Dallas Eakins. Listen, when Dallas Eakins first got hired, I laughed because this guy sucks. He's a clown. And guess what? He sucks in Anaheim too. There's no way this team last year. It's basically this team on paper is better than last year's Ducks. And last year's Ducks weren't this bad.
I have no explanation for the Ducks. I feel bad for John Gibson. I know he hasn't been
great,
but man, this guy's stuck with this roster, stuck with this franchise, and he's just watched them drown in front of him. And he's done everything he can to put them on his shoulders, but he just can't. And I remember when the Ducks, they had this really promising tandem of Anderson and
Gibson.
Gibson. That was insane. It's Anderson was 25 at the time, Gibson was 22, and it's one of these guys is going away, and I think it's probably going to be Anderson, which it did. And and then Gibson was going to be the one that led them to a cup because they were better back then than they are now, which makes no sense. They went backwards. So
yeah, it's shocking. And also once again, let's look at the young kids. Max Jones, who's 24 years old, has yet to really do anything in the NHL. He has 34 points, 34 career points in 170 games. You're a former first round pick. You gotta do something, man.
Yep.
Max Comtois has been disappointing. Isaac Lundstrom's been disappointing. Sorry, Euro Vakanainen has been disappointing. And also John Klingberg sucks
Yeah,
too. I just want to throw
obviously.
that out there. I mean, he's not young, but I just want to say he sucks because I don't like him. He's not good, and I hate when people. I mean, a few years ago, people were saying this guy is one of the best defensemen in the NHL, and now look where he is right now. He's probably the worst defenseman who at his job defending. Like you're just like honestly, if you, I don't understand why teams just put offensive minded defensemen on the wing nowadays.
It's okay. I get like the logic behind it, but at the same time, they're defensemen their whole careers for a reason, right?
I guess so, yeah.
So
But
like
I mean, there's some defensemen that play on the wing during the power play. They're on the wall, right?
yeah,
Sometimes the Oilers put Bouchard on the wall and it works out. I mean the Maple Leaf. I mean this is not a defensive playing on the forward for the Leafs, but they put Marner on defense because Marner's good at defense. And hey, why not try it out, right? It doesn't hurt to try it out for a few shifts,
yeah,
right? But like, I want to see more creativity in the league. I really do.
and I
I
think
think
that's
that'd be
something
cool.
that which league does this a lot, where they just the position just isn't there anymore, and they just let people that who can play every position just switch around, because then it's so confusing for the other team.
I
I
mean
think
that's good. Coaching tactics, man.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely an option, and I think, but it does take a special player to like suddenly move out of your position at the highest level and go and do the next one. Like Marner is obviously a special player,
Yeah,
but I don't know if he can move because, frankly, Klinberg's just not good enough to do that.
yeah,
Suddenly get used to be playing the wing, in my opinion.
right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who you would replace Dallas Eakins with in Anaheim. I mean, he should be gone by the end of the year. The only reason why he's still here is because they're gonna tank for Bedard, right? Most of these coaches are gonna be with their teams because they're gonna tank for Bedard. Now what? Now there's a few other teams at the bottom of the league. Arizona, I don't think Turkey's going anywhere. San Jose, I think Quinn's safe. Quinn's actually gotten a lot of Quinn's actually gotten some good results out of the San Jose roster. And I mean, Marty St. Louis not going in for Montreal. One coach I do want to talk about though is DJ Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I expected more out of Ottawa too. And
Yep.
like once again, like it's a good team. Look at their forward core. They added the Brinket. They added Giroux. And, like I think the Brinket only has like 15 goals so far. Like he's a 40 goal scorer. He's on pace for under 30. It's like I don't know how that's happening. Like what is he doing?
Yep. And I'm just gonna go back to my hot takes. I said that Ottawa wasn't gonna make the playoffs, but I never thought they would be this bad. I thought they would be like fighting, but they're not. They're below points. Like 45. They have 43 points in 45 games, and as a team, and that's just not where I thought they would be at this point. Because like if I look at the conference, they're pretty far out of a wild card spot because just of how good the Eastern Conference is.
Yeah,
So I I really expected them to do much better, and I honestly wanted them to make the playoffs, even though I didn't see them doing it because it's an
they're a likable team. They're a really likable team.
exactly, they're fun to watch. Even if they would be fun to watch if they, you know, use their skill once in a while. And I don't know what's I think you're right. It's DJ Smith that's holding them back, but I hope they figure it out soon because I don't want to see Florida in the playoffs again. They're kind of boring.
I mean, like Tim Stutzel's been having a fantastic year. Kachuk's been having a great year. I mean, like I guess you can look at the defensemen and be like, oh, they got to be better. I mean, but like Bernard Docker's still only 22. I
Yeah,
think Jake Sanderson is having a good year. He has 16 points in 45 games as a rookie. Thomas Chabot, I mean, one of the best defensemen in NHL, never really gets talked about.
which is crazy.
Artem Zub's good. Like it's really not a bad defense, and like I mean, and I know the goaltending has had its struggles
Yeah.
in the past few weeks in Forsberg and Talbot, but like still, even with that, I don't think this team should be below 500. Like there are teams in the playoffs in the wild card spots that I feel like have worse rosters in the sense.
Yeah, so the
And
two wildcard spots right now, for those who don't know, are Washington and Pittsburgh. Islanders, Buffalo, and Florida are all vying for one, but they're none of those teams, besides obviously Pittsburgh and Washington. They have always been good,
Yeah.
have amazing rosters, and Buffalo's just hot.
I
So
mean, Buffalo's also really fun to watch.
they are
The way Tage Thompson has just evolved. Holy crap!
out of nowhere too. It's been amazing.
I know. Also, the Islanders. I mean, you guys just suck. All right. I'm sorry. Like the only reason why you're good was because of Barry Trotz. Holy, you guys are terrible. Sorokin's probably gonna win the Vezina, and they're not even gonna make the playoffs.
Man, Sorokin, wow, he put the team on his shoulders, and they just can't give him anything else in return. Like, yeah, sure, the goalie is the most important player on the ice, but he shouldn't be like the only player that's actually doing anything on the ice. That's not the point of it.
There's zero offense on that team besides Matthew Barzell.
Exactly.
And like you said, I mean, like Florida. I mean, we all laughed when they hired Paul Maurice, and like we knew that they were gonna take a step back because they lost so much in the off season. But holy man,
Yep.
I mean, their defense is okay. Like Ekblad, Montour, Forsing, it's a decent top four there. The goaltending, man, I don't even know where to begin with that. Bobrovsky, you're getting paid $10 million. I don't think he's had a single good year in Florida, and I'm not exaggerating. I don't think he's had a good
Nope.
year. Even
None.
even last year, hold up. I think his save percentage last season was like .10, and that's when he won the President's Trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a
it's
.913.
yeah. Goals above expected this year is -1 for Sergei Bobrovsky. And where is Spencer Knight? Oh, there he is, -1.4. So, you know, not good, especially because Knight should be coming into his own now. He's at that
22,
age
right?
where goalies usually find their stride, and
Yeah.
he's not. Uh, and Bobrovsky's been bad for a long time now, so they gotta hope because 10 million, but
I mean, as soon as that deal was signed, everyone knew that was not going to go well.
yep.
And I mean, like, it made no sense to sign Bobrovsky because you just drafted Spencer Knight. So
Yeah,
why did you
yeah,
get Bobrovsky 7 years? I don't get it.
man. Ah,
I would love to hear the thought process. If you sign Bobrovsky for 4 years or 5 years, then I get it. Because then after that, Knight takes over. But like, if the plan was for Knight to take over near the end of Bobrovsky's contract, then you just have a $10 million backup.
exactly.
So like, what are you like? What was the idea there?
Where does the money come from? When they
I know,
budget out,
right?
it's not that hard to put into even I'm thinking of the NHL 22 like NHL screens where like they have it like this year this is how much each person's getting paid, and you can go until like their contract is up and it shows. Like they can't just do that and see, oh wait, this isn't gonna work out.
I guess not. They're too dumb enough to do that.
Yeah, if Johnny Superman in his high does his streams like high half the time, can't tell that, oh, I'm gonna run out of money, then why can't you?
Another team I want to look at too is Nashville, and I mean, it'd be better if Rossi was here to talk about Nashville struggles, but I mean, like, just look at the fact that once again, it's just UC Saros, Roman Yossi, and Philip Forsberg, and that's really it. That's all that there is to this team.
And those players, as great as they are, as great as Saros and Yossi are, they are not capable of putting the team on their brain the same way that Sorokin has.
Yeah,
So, man, I wish I like Nashville,
I do
and
too.
for Rossi, I really wish they would do well. But man, they really got to figure out the rest of their team because even Duchesne, who was good before, isn't good now for some reason. Am I lying
Johansson
about that? Has Duchesne been good? And I'm just lying
I
about it.
have I have no idea.
Maybe so.
Duchesne was good last year. I think he was like over. Didn't he
Yeah,
have
he
like
was
40
over point
goals?
per game. That's what I was talking about. Like he was good, but then let's see this
Now
year.
he's kind of back to his old self.
Yep, there you go.
Uh,
34
Ryan,
points. It's not horrible, I guess, but
it's
like
not horrible, but
more,
8 million.
please.
Ryan Johansson has 22 points in 45 games.
Well,
You are also paying him $8 million.
Johansson's been bad for I don't even know how long now, and I don't remember. I don't remember when he was last good. Was it the year that he was like had one? He was good, and then he signed his contract and then dropped off, which is like,
Yeah, you're exactly right. He had a 61 points in 16-17, signed his contract, and then kind of fell off a cliff.
man, it's
And
funny how that always happens.
and what happened to Tanner Jeannot? Like I thought this guy was gonna win the Calder at one point last year, and
Yeah.
now he only has 11 points in 45 games. Like,
Ah,
and I love Jeannot. I was like, damn, this guy can hit. He can score. He's basically like what everyone wants in a player nowadays. He was kind of like similar to Michael Bunty, but obviously Bunty's a bit more skilled. But geez, he took a nosedive too. Also, Cody Glass, 14 points in 35 games. Good for him to kind of start getting his
yeah,
career revived. I'm very happy for Glass. Hopefully, he continues that. But like, this team is just it's similar to Vancouver. It's just kind of mediocre. Like there's some good, there's some good, but like after that, like this team is probably like a second round appearance at best.
yeah. Even if that, and honestly, they're in this position right now where they're not willing to sell enough to build a team around their top end players like Saros, Yossi, and Forsberg, but they're also got these top end players like Saros, Yossi, and Forsberg that they don't want to trade away to tank. So like, it's they're just so indecisive. Like, make a decision one way or the other. Like, if I'm you, you have these players, use them. But like,
Yeah, and I mean like they have to. I mean, everyone knows John Hines is a terrible coach. You see what he did in New Jersey. Never really got that coaching hire as well. I thought Laviolette was fine there, but
yeah.
whatever. Also, you got to fire Poyle. He's just too old.
Oh my god, man. Poyle is
It's like 80 years old.
man. It doesn't work having old GMs. It just the league is different. Why can't they understand that?
So many teams are so far behind. And the end off today, let's talk about the St. Louis Blues. And now once again, I think Craig Berube is a great coach. And I know the Blues are okay. Offensively, they're good. They are really good, right?
Yeah.
Barbashev, Buchnievich, Kyrou, Neighbors, O'Reilly, Sod, Shed, Tarasenko, Thomas. That's a good ass forward core. The defense, I don't like. I think it's the defensive goaltending, and that's not Berube's fault at all. You gave like the only good defenseman on that team is Colton Parayko, and you can maybe argue Justin Falk.
Falk hasn't been all that special. I think for what he's supposed to be, he's not been that great.
And Torrey Krug's an offensive power play guy.
Yep.
So like Parayko's basically their only good defenseman,
Yeah.
and Jordan Bennington is garbage.
God awful, bro. So bad. Like, why? Like, how is he so bad? Like, I know goalies are like all over the place, but
He's consistently bad.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like
it's even hard for goalies to be consistently bad, but he is that. Oh.
I mean, if you look at his stats, it's like drop up after drop up, right? He had that great year in 18-19. He had a 1.89. Then he had then next year 2.56. Then at 2.65. Then at 3.13. Now it's 3.18. He gets worse. Save percentage 927, 912, 910, 901, 895.
Man.
Like, and here's the thing: you can't trade him because he has I think he's making like $6 million.
Yes, 6 million. It's close to that. And he had to let go of Huso.
I mean, Huso just isn't doing really.
Yeah, he isn't doing too good himself. That's true. But they had other options, and they couldn't keep him because this guy's just getting paid way too much. And this team is full of old people, just really old people. So like,
Oh my god. And we're like, Berube is a good coach. He shouldn't get fired. It really isn't his fault. I think you look at Doug Armstrong. You're the one that built this defense. You decided to bring back Jordan Bennington again for no reason. Like they're gonna probably trade Tarasenko and O'Reilly. Like
which is crazy. Those were like two cornerstones of that Stanley Cup winning team, and they were both amazing.
like people are gonna be like, oh, I mean, teams are gonna be like Jonathan Taves, three-time Cup champion, two-time gold medalist, Selke winner. let me, teams are gonna be loving that. If I'm a team, I'd rather get Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh, 100%.
He is phenomenal, and like I know he's having a bit of a down year. Trust me, wherever he goes, he's gonna go off again. He is so dang good, and like he's only 31. He's still really young enough. He can still sign to like a 4 or 5 year deal, and he'll cover like that. That'd be a good bet for most of the deal. Like,
Yep.
if teams are smart, they would go after O'Reilly, but I don't think teams are smart. That's the thing.
I've heard his
Very
name
few
being
teams are
fished.
smart.
I've heard his name out there. Like there are teams on these lower level teams that we've talked about, like Columbus. Jenner is probably out there, to be honest. Now that I think about it.
Boone Jenner would be a good pickup for a team, yeah.
Yeah. Anaheim. I don't even know. Timo Meyer off San Jose.
Oh, Timo Meyer is so good.
Exactly. These players that are amazing and should be on good teams are being wasted.
Yeah. And imagine the assets you can get back for those guys. I mean, especially in Timo Meyer's case, I mean, you can probably pay up, like, honestly, we saw what Vegas gave up for Eichel. I'd be willing to pay up more for Timo Meyer because I think he's that good. I love Timo Meyer. The advanced stats love him. He's one of the best two-way wingers in the league. I think he's like top 10 players when it comes like war wise, expected goals wise. He's doing this on San Jose, and he's in league, and he's such a good defensive winger too. Any team should throw all the assets they can to grab Timo Meyer.
He would elevate any team to, like at least 1 or 2 levels higher than they are now. Like if Boston picked him up, it's over. If Toronto picked him up, they might actually make it past the first round. If like who's a team that's fighting right now? Like if Pittsburgh picked him up, that would be amazing for Pittsburgh, to be honest. Now
I
that I
mean,
think about
technically,
it.
a team that's fighting right now is Colorado. If Colorado gets Timo Meyer,
Oh,
I
bro, I
I
don't
would
know
stop
what,
watching hockey. They'd go like they'd 5-peat.
bro, about Colorado too. Like I know they've had injuries, but like
They've been rebounding though, right? They
they have
are
been better lately because they've had people
4 months
coming
in a row.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're only 2 points behind the Flames with 3 games in hand. Um, no, I mean this could be probably a different video, but if you look at the West, like the first wildcard spot are the Oilers, but they're only 3 points back from the Kraken with who have the first place in the Pacific. Like, Vegas could miss the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
they're only like they can miss the playoffs. Seattle can still miss the playoffs. The West is so wide open because it's so dog shit. But that's the best part of the West, just the craze to see who's gonna miss and who's gonna make it in the
Yeah.
final 20 games.
It's a good race over there. In the East, even in the East, honestly, there are a lot of good teams. If you look past the divisional spots, the wild card is close between
I
Washington.
really want Buffalo to make it. That's why I really want Buffalo to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
They
like
probably get killed by Boston, but like still, I want to watch them in the playoffs. I want that fan base to be happy.
yeah, it's been long enough, man. They deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to touch on Philly, or have we kind of gone on them enough in the past?
We have, but I feel like it's worth at least a bit of time again.
All right. First of all, Ivan Provorov, I mean, I don't know if no, I'll bring it up. Ivan Provorov, you're a fucking moron. Really, like if your religion is promoting hate, I don't know what to say. And also, Torts is an idiot too. Torts said he would bench a player if they kneel for an anthem, but now he's publicly supporting a guy who's against the LGBTQ community, and that doesn't sit well with me. It really doesn't.
And he's bad, by the way.
Oh yeah, and he's bad. Provorov I mean both they're both bad.
Yeah.
I mean like this. I mean, Torch has been doing some weird stuff lately. Like he benched Kevin Hayes
That
for
made no
some
sense.
reason, even though he's their best player.
Yeah.
I mean, besides Travis Konecny, but like still, he's the only, like he's producing. He's been doing everything asked of him, and he still gets benched. Like, I mean, we knew that coming into this year, Philly was going to be a team to watch for the wrong reasons, and I mean, Torts has done some weird ass stuff.
Yeah.
Like even for Torts' standards, he's been doing some weird stuff.
Yep. Man, it's hard to explain really. Like a couple bright spots. Obviously, Travis Konechny, JVR has been good,
Good for
but
JVR. Yeah,
Owen Tippett's also had a decent year. But
that's
oh,
it.
Carter Hart too is also like he's put the team on his shoulders at some point.
Yep.
He's been amazing. Um, but like other than that, they have to really break out of it because first of all, the team on paper isn't all that great, and second of all, they're playing under a coach who is so like stuck in like I don't even know. This isn't even the 2000s anymore. This is like
The 1990s.
yeah, the 90s. It's insane. Just how can you like see the whole league evolving around you and doing better than you and still not want to change? I don't know, man.
It's weird. And last thing I want to touch on, uh, the NHL needs to fix their playoff structure. Like the Toronto Maple Leafs are third place in the league, and they already know who they're gonna face in the first round.
It's it plagues me every night.
Oh, Toronto Tampa first round again.
Like sure, it's fun. It's very fun. I like that series. Up until the last couple minutes, but I like that series a lot. It was fun to watch. It was back and forth. Then there was probably the two most evenly matched. That's probably one of the most evenly matched series I've ever seen. But, uh, why in the first round?
Yeah,
You
I
want to
know.
see good teams play as far into the playoffs as possible. So why are I don't even know where Tampa is exactly, but I know they're probably up ish.
I think they're fifth in the conference. So Toronto's third in the conference. Tampa's fifth. So if we already did the 1v8, 2v7, Tampa would play New Jersey, and Toronto would face the Rangers.
See, so you actually have good teams keep on going and meet up later on when they're supposed to.
Also,
It's
you get variety.
yeah,
Variety
exactly.
matchups. Dude, the biggest market in America against the biggest market in Canada in the first round. Ratings go through the roof. Holy.
And then they drop off.
And then they drop off, yeah. Also, I was at the game well, 2 nights ago, Thursday, when the Oilers played Tampa. Tampa's a dirty team. I hate them.
Oh my god,
Holy
man, they
crap.
are.
Kucherov's the biggest whiner in the league. Like,
Yeah,
I hate him. I absolutely hate him.
it's always these top players that get so much virtue from the refs. Like Crosby kind of used to be like this, but he's really not like that anymore.
He's not, no, he's changed, thankfully.
And but Kucherov is at that point now, and he's so annoying because you know that he'll like be the one, he'll be the aggressor in a situation, and the other guy will get the call, and then he'll score on the power play for them. So
Yeah.
it's always so annoying when top players like are so annoying like that, and
And the league needs to do better protecting their players. Matthews and McDavid. I'm not saying McKinnon because the league loves to protect McKinnon. You know, I hate to be that guy. It's the Canadian bias.
yeah,
Stars on Canadian teams get treated like junk.
yeah, like the two best players in the league, and Matthews and McDavid are like harassed every single night they play. They take so much like abuse for, and they shouldn't be because you know those are your top players. Pay attention to them and protect them because if they're injured, then you know who do you want to watch anymore because they're the ones that awe you
Yeah,
and like obviously they're gonna get like extra pressure on them for being that good, but it shouldn't be to the point where it's dangerous for them because it is.
yeah. I mean, so I think it was what Neil Pionk last season, what he did to Matthews,
Yeah,
just dragging him around, no penalty. I think Matthews might retaliate the back and then got a
yeah, he got a
penalty. Like,
suspension.
no. Matthews gets cross-checked in the face. No call. I'm pretty sure he got knocked into the crossbar too. No call. McDavid literally had his whole leg injured at a few, I think almost 4 years ago. Giordano, no call there. Like the league just doesn't give a crap, and I don't know what else to say because it's a joke. I think the refing has gotten worse this year somehow. Every year, I always think there's no way the refing could get worse,
Mm-hmm.
and it does.
I
And,
think that something else that they got to do is the same way that the coaches are like just a revolving door of old guys who are blind and stupid. They've got to do change that with referees too. Just bring in new guys. Like I know that like this. I'm gonna bring this up. I forgot what his name was. The one that was like harassing Bunting through the door. Like that is just unprofessional. Like sure, you can make wrong calls, but when you're going to the point where you're like, I don't want to say assaulting, but basically assaulting a player, and he can't do anything back because he's gonna get suspended for 30 games. That's just wrong.
Yeah,
And
it's terrible.
uh
Anyways, I think we went along enough.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so we know we haven't been posting a lot lately. We've just been really busy this entire year. A lot of us are in university. Q is actually in grade 12 right now, so like
Yeah.
he's gonna be even more busier next year, and we'll
And Tundra
try.
dissolved, so there's that.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll keep on making podcasts. Don't worry, it might just be as less frequent as we used to, but we'll still do our streams. We'll still do the trade deadline stream, all that stuff. We'll still do those trade videos. We'll probably do a couple more podcasts within the next few weeks on surprising players and all that stuff, like we did last year. But yeah, just there's a reason why we haven't been making a lot of content lately, but whenever we get the chance, we'll record one and upload it. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
And rest in peace to a certain special cat.
Oh yeah, Rossi's cat Echo, who no, he's made appearances on a few podcasts beforehand. Um, no, I feel bad. My thoughts are with Rossi and his family. He was beloved, and no, he'll be missed.